Hey guys, just a heads up, today is the last full day to get 30% off your entire G Fuel order by using code IMMORTAL. So if you do want to pick up a new tub, shaker cup, or starter pack, now is definitely the best time to do so. Tomorrow morning, my code will go back down to a 10% discount, so take advantage of that full 30% off ASAP by using code IMMORTAL at checkout. And now on to today's video. So, part 1 of the Modern Warfare Multiplayer Beta has now come and gone, and I think 4 days of gameplay certainly offers enough time to figure out what works in terms of weapons and rush routes and whatnot, and I feel like it also gives you plenty of time to take away what things you really enjoy and what things you could probably do without. And today, we're talking about just that. After the 2v2 gunfight alpha, I gave you guys my thoughts and opinions on the game at the time. So I figured this time around, since we experienced much more gameplay all around, we would do a round 2 of my honest review on MW, because I'll admit, some things have changed. But before we jump into what I love and hate about the game right now, if you guys are new here and you want to stay up to date with everything going on in the world of Call of Duty, I am always covering all the latest news, leaks, updates, and all things of that nature, so feel free to subscribe with your post notifications turned on, that way you'll always know when I post a new video. And of course, if you do enjoy this one, let me know by dropping a like rating on it, as it would be much appreciated. And now let's get into my thoughts on Modern Warfare so far. So, for this video, I figured we would break it down into 3 separate parts. What I love about the game, what I hate about the game, and also what I'm kind of on the fence about. And why not start it off with the positives? So, the first big thing that I absolutely love about this game is the Gunsmith feature. Without a doubt, I think it is the best created class setup that we have ever seen in Call of Duty history. I think it's way better than pick 10, pick 13, pick whatever, because it offers so much diversity, and you also don't have to sacrifice a ton of stuff in order to actually get an ideal class setup. With all the pick 10 stuff in the past, you had to normally sacrifice a pistol or your grenades if you wanted more attachments, or you had to sacrifice attachments if you wanted more perks or a secondary, so on and so forth. However, this year that's not the case, and I absolutely love it. You can have up to 5 attachments on your primary weapon, and out of those 5 attachments, you have anywhere between 25 and 30 to choose from as of right now. And come the full game, some weapons will have upwards of 60 attachments to choose from, which honestly is absurd. And then on top of that, you are guaranteed a secondary, you get 3 perks no matter what, and you also have a lethal and a tactical grenade too. So you have a very complete class setup this year, which I think is great. Also, I want to point out that overkill in this game is probably the most effective that it's ever been, since you can carry 2 primary weapons with that perk active, and each of those primary weapons can have 5 attachments on it. So you can actually have a setup with 10 attachments in total, and when you take into consideration the sheer number of points you're using for everything in a setup like that, with overkill activated, you can essentially have a class setup with 17 points between your 2 weapons, the 10 attachments, the 3 perks, and also the 2 nades. So yeah, 17 points on just one class setup. That is pretty insane. The other thing that I really love about the game so far is just how aesthetically pleasing it is. This is by far the best looking game that I think we have ever had in Call of Duty, and the details are just next level nice. From the lighting to the shadows, from the windows to the walls, pretty much everything about this game visually is amazing. So that is another thing that I really love about it so far. Gold star for the graphics in this one. Now let's shift focus to some of the negatives, some of the things that I don't really like about the game so far. Now keep in mind, this is just based off of the beta experience alone, so these things could change, some probably will, some might not, we're just gonna have to wait and see. But I will say I found myself getting pretty ragey from time to time while playing this game this past weekend, and honestly way more so than I expected. Without a doubt, my biggest issue with the game right now is the spawns. To put it bluntly, they are bad. I can't count how many times I've spawned, walked 3 feet forward, and then died. Or spawned into gunfire, or like what you guys can see on the screen right now, spawned with an enemy on top of me. Like this one might be the worst one I've run into yet. I died, spawned in, and there was literally a guy so close to me that it pushed my character back upon my screen loading up. The spawns have to get fixed ASAP. They're pretty much bad in every single mode and on every single map. In Domination, you'll spawn in nowhere near your flag sometimes, or you'll be spawn trapped out the wazoo for no reason whatsoever. In TDMs where spawns are not supposed to be constant, you'll get spawn trapped, or sometimes you'll spawn with the enemies, it feels like. But this is a beta, it is meant to test things like this, and I'd hope that because of this beta, the spawns in the full game and even this next weekend will be infinitely better, because what I ran into this past weekend was not good. Another thing that I found myself getting pretty frustrated with was the various inconsistencies throughout the game. Two of the most noticeable ones being audio, much like in the alpha, and also gunfights. In the alpha, footstep audio was pretty bad. Sometimes you would hear enemies running from across the map, others they would be right on top of you and they would be dead silent. Now here in the beta, I feel like I've experienced some of each as well, and it's pretty frustrating. We don't have a normal minimap, so deciphering the location of enemies can rely a lot more on footsteps sometimes, and to have them not be a consistent thing is incredibly annoying to run into. So audio cues are definitely something that needs to be fixed ASAP. Then weapon, or I guess more specifically gunfight consistency, also felt a bit weird too, as sometimes I would shoot first and die even though I hit 1 or 2 shots before the enemy even started firing, and other times I would get kills that I absolutely should not have. There will be times when I'll get mapped by an MP7, yet my M13 will feel like it's shooting marshmallows at the same distance, despite it being more capable of performing well at longer ranges. Headshots seem to be more lethal than ever, and honestly, I'm okay with that. It does reward good aim, but also it feels like the damage drop-off for some weapons is non-existent at times, and others it is way more noticeable than ever. So that's another issue that was pretty apparent to me. Then the final thing that I really wasn't too big on in the beta was the map complexity. Now I for one am all for designing cool new maps and making the game look and feel immersive and whatnot, but I saw a screenshot of one of the streets on Grasna Raid, I believe, where there were, I kid you not, 10 different spots that you could be shot at from at one time. All the buildings seem to have like 3 or 4 windows and 2 doors and a big hole in the side of them to look in or out of. And in the spawns, you'll have buildings with multiple stories, multiple rooms, and plenty of other vantage points as well, which I feel like adds almost too much complexity to the map, where no matter how good your gun skill is or how good your map knowledge is, you're just not going to be able to fight back against that many possible lines of sight. However, this is the maps here that we're talking about at the end of the day, and honestly, I don't think this is something that will end up getting changed, so more than likely we are going to have to live and learn. Now, to wrap things up for today, let's break down what I'm kind of on the fence about, and that is none other than the minimap, which is probably the hottest topic in the community right now. Quite a few people think the game needs the standard minimap like what we have had for years now. Others kind of like the tactical play without it. And to be honest, I originally thought it would be fine without a minimap, as we'd just learn to use what we have in-game, like the footstep audio and the compass to locate enemies. But as we talked about, the footsteps aren't consistent, and as I'm sure you guys know, no one moves in this game. And I think a decent part of that is because the minimap is not normal. Sure, we can get UAVs and radars and whatnot, but the lack of a minimap takes away a lot more than just seeing red dots appear. It also takes away the ability to break down flank routes on the fly, it takes away the ability to read spawns, which, as mentioned, are awful. So in combination with the other flaws in the game right now, no minimap makes it so that you're kind of playing a massive guessing game where apparently everyone is just terrified of using the left thumbstick. Truly, I just want to play the game with a standard minimap that shows enemy fire and everything else just like it used to, simply to see if it changes how people play. I have never seen so many people stick to their spawn in a head glitch before, and I think that's because not having a minimap creates a lot of uncertainty. Now, one may argue, well, we had the minimap for part of the beta that just didn't show enemy fire, and I think that's a step in the right direction, but people still seem too scared to move at times. And without enemy fire showing up on the radar, Lil Timmy can still post up with his tent and campfire in a mounted head glitch and not move all game because he knows that unless I get a UAV, we won't see him on the map. So while I don't know if a minimap would solve these problems, I'd like to think it would, but ultimately we won't know unless we can try it, thus my indecisiveness on whether I love or hate the minimap situation right now. With all of that being said though, those are my updated thoughts on Modern Warfare as of now, and that is going to wrap things up for today. If you guys enjoyed the video, let me know by dropping a like rating on it, as it would be much appreciated. And of course, if you guys are new here and you want to stay up to date with everything going on in the world of Call of Duty, feel free to subscribe with your post notifications turned on. That way you'll always know when a new video goes live. As I mentioned earlier, today is the last day to get 30% off your G Fuel order by using code IMMORTAL, so if you are interested in picking up some G Fuel, now is the best time to do so. Once again, thanks so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.